You're
I
back in the chair, baby.
told you I pissed all over this couch and I was like, it's mine now.
I know.
We're going to have to fight for it.
Yes, because you also took my spot.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think you're going to give it back.
No, and I also have a book coming out.
No, I'm so serious.
No,
I'm so serious
You're
about this.
so mature for your age.
This isn't therapy. This is not therapy. This is not therapy. This is not therapy. This isn't therapy.
Hello.
Hello, hi, and
Welcome back.
to another fun,
Flirty
fabulous
episode
of
This Isn't Therapy.
The podcast about all the stuff people are talking to their therapists about.
Correct.
My name is Jakers, and I am a therapist.
And my name is Simon Palick, and I am not a therapist. However, Jakey and I, we're just two gal pals who like to have conversations about therapy. So each week on this podcast, Jakey and I, we grab our grubby little paws.
Grab them.
We put them on. We twist. We pull back the therapy curtain. We get a phone call.
Sorry, just 1 second.
That's okay. That's therapy calling. Hi,
Hi.
therapy.
Hi, I'm recording an episode. Can I call you back?
And therapy says,
It was a telemarketer.
no problem. So we reach into that therapy room. We pull out a theme, a factor, a question, a query, a quandary, something that's floating around in the culture.
True. We do
And
that.
then we just have a conversation about it
That's right.
on the couch. Why?
Well, it's because therapy themes are everywhere you look.
They are.
That's right.
We're always saying that. Okay, speaking is speaking.
Sometimes you get interjected with a phone call from a friend.
And sometimes it's a telemarketer.
And sometimes it's not an important call, so you just have to hang up.
And sometimes it's just therapy calling.
Can I just say, how unhinged must it be to click on an episode of This Isn't Therapy
Yeah.
with the title Hilary, Duff
Yeah.
and Sports Betting and think to yourself,
What?
yeah, I'm in the right place.
They're like, you know what? This is where I need to be.
This is where I need to be today.
I love that. So thank you all of those out
Yeah.
there who are here today. Thank you.
Thank you for being here. Hello, hi. And today we're going to talk about these two unrelated topics and somehow find some common ground.
I think so.
Though that isn't necessarily the point of the pod. So if we don't find common ground,
No, we have to.
we did not fail.
No. I like
But-
how you're doing that, but no, we have to.
But
We must find a connection between Hilary Duff and sports betting by the end of this.
we will be reaching into the therapy room.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to actually first see how Hilary Duff is a therapy theme. I'm
see.
excited to get into that.
It's actually a lovely listener story about the Hilary Duff album.
C'est quoi?
C'est quoi? And it has a question.
C'est quoi ça?
What?
Okay.
What? So, should we just get into it?
Yeah, let's take a break.
Yeah.
And we'll be right back.
Hear a word from our sponsor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, click. You know what I've always said?
What?
You're back in the couch.
You're
You're back in the chair, baby.
I told you I pissed all over this couch and I was like, it's mine now.
I know.
We're
and
going to have to fight for it.
yes, because you also took my spot.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think you're going to give it back.
No, and I also have a book coming out.
No, I'm so serious.
You're
I'm so serious about this.
so mature for your age. Da-na-na. Anyways. So, speaking of Hilary Duff and being mature.
Yeah, so tell me.
Okay, so this question, I think you're going to like it. So, it's Hilary Duff / I'm going to call this We Don't Talk. And it's a lovely listener story.
That's such a good song.
And it goes like this.
Okay.
Hey there, love the pod. So, not sure what the therapy theme is here, but our emerging millennial nostalgia queen, Hilary Duff, has a new album. I'm seeing her when she comes to Austin. We're seeing her when she comes to Toronto.
Hello, hi.
Hi. And on the album, she has a song that's about her relationship with her sister and how they're not in each other's lives right now. And in interviews, she's talked about how that's the loneliest part of her life right now. It got me thinking about my own relationship with my siblings. And like, we're not close, just not like besties. And I'm wondering why some siblings are like best friends and some just don't get along. I kind of wish my siblings and I were best friends, but we're also so different.
Ooh.
It's good, eh?
Okay.
Good
So
question.
this lovely listener is referencing a string of interviews that Hilary Duff has done,
Yeah.
promoting her new album, Luck or something.
Mm-hmm.
And
No, that's the title. It's called Luck or something.
Luck, ...
Yeah, it's not Jake being like, it's luck or something. He's not being dismissive.
Thank you for clarifying.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not called Luck. It's called Luck ... or something.
Yeah.
And so in the interview, she addresses how her and her sister have sort of had a bit of a falling out, separation, but maybe that is not really explainable by any significant events or any sort of like big things that happened. But it sounds like over the pandemic they drifted, and then they just don't talk anymore. So she wrote a song about it.
Yeah.
That was just sort of the background for the Lovelies.
Yeah.
What do you think about this sort of question around siblings and relationships and closeness? I mean, you and I both have siblings.
Yeah, we do.
So we have like an interesting context to talk about this through. But let's try to make it
juicier.
No, I mean, let's just try to make it like less about our experiences, more just about answering
Just in general, yeah.
this question.
I'm kind of fascinated. My answer to your question is gonna launch a question right back at you. Why do siblings who you would think grow up like under the same household, assuming they all grow up in the same household, they're close enough in age, which I think Hilary and Haley are. I don't know. I can't check it. But why do some siblings have the same experience but interpret it differently, and then that may or may not bring them together or may drift them apart? Why does that happen?
Yeah, I think there are many reasons why it can happen, right? Sometimes it could be because of just one significant event or set of events that force them apart. But it could also just be that growing up, they just didn't have as many moments of connections or similarities enough to kind of keep them close. That is to say that siblings in families, they are a part of the same family, but they don't have the same experience. Right? So they grew up in the same house, but they didn't grow up with the same stories or experiences, right? So we could be in the same family, but have a completely different experience of what that was like for us in that family. And so maybe what is common is that maybe one family member, maybe a parent, treats one sibling one way and another sibling another way. Or maybe one sibling doesn't actually have any issues with being treated a certain way, whereas another sibling does. And so sometimes what can happen is siblings can align and they can kind of bond and become close over that shared experience, or they could become a bit further apart. Similar to what the lovely listener is saying, it could also be that they just don't share a lot in common. And so maybe it's just that they don't have enough to kind of be the glue that holds them together. There's just not enough there that kind of brings them closer. So it's not, it would be a myth to say that it's like big events that cause siblings to not become close. I think it's like little things over time that perhaps result in that circumstance.
Question then, could you say it could be natural then for siblings just not to be close? Like they don't have to have an event or like a big rift, but it could just be like via the nature that you're two different people.
Yeah.
Even though you might be under the same roof, have the same experiences, have the same parents, you are two different people and you just don't get along, or you just don't connect.
Yeah.
Is that natural? Like, should you feel bad for not being besties with your siblings?
Well, think about people at work or people that you went to school with, or even in a friend group, right? You're not going to be close to everyone in the exact same way. And you might have different types of relationships with each of those people. And so, yeah, it's incredibly natural, I guess we could say, or common to have different relationships with our siblings. I actually would question this like blood pact that might happen with families. That's like, just because you're blood related doesn't mean you have to have a really tight, strong relationship with each and every member of that family. That could also set us up for harmful relationships or even abusive relationships too, if we're not careful about that, right? So I think just like at work or just like in life, you have different relationships with different people, and a lot of it is that common interests or common traits or values like bring people closer, right? And it's also quite common for values to be quite different among siblings.
Because is it as simple though as the fact that you are two different people?
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. And I would say that part of the concern here is that I think many people force closeness in families when closeness just isn't a possibility, and closeness isn't actually what those two people need or want. And so sometimes the opposite could also be true, which is that when you're forcing people to be close when they don't really have a lot in common, that could also be a recipe for a disaster also. And so this is we're seeing a lot of this. We're seeing a lot of this theme of families or family members going no contact. So whether that's like siblings with siblings or parents and siblings, we're seeing a lot of family estrangements happening. And I think some of it is because of just the way the world is right now, that we have become so polarized that it is becoming a bit harder for us to maintain those relationships. Some of it could also be the result of what is called atomization, which is where if you're not in physical proximity with each other, you become so atomized and separated that you just don't have enough face-to-face time with each other, right? Which doesn't build relationships as closely as when you're with people in proximity.
What about being in different, having a shared history with someone? Like, I guess like siblings, and we're talking in, broad strokes here, but the idea would be you have a history with this person, like in very traditional settings, like parents are usually the first people that you kind of connect to, right? Like attachment styles and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But what about siblings and all that? Like if you are the eldest and then a second comes in, like I'm sure you see this in your work, right? Like how does like a history of, I don't know, like, because that changes the family dynamic, right? Like even if you go from your only child to 2 to 3, or like only child and suddenly there's twins, like how does that actually fundamentally change a relationship for the sibling? Yeah. It does.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean,
perfect.
Sorry, I didn't know you were done speaking.
Yeah. I was like, wait, did I miss a social cue?
Things like birth order, or even just the distance between ages can complicate those dynamics for sure. I'm thinking about, like you're saying, sometimes older siblings do have a bit more leadership thrust upon them, or a bit more pressure to set the standard or to behave a lot more, to be a role model, let's say. And sometimes notoriously younger siblings get a bit more permission to just loosen the reins a bit and to be themselves and to like maybe have more freedoms. Maybe the rules are a bit more lax because parents have kind of done it time and time again. And so, yeah, those dynamics certainly do affect individual relationships within a family for sure. What we're seeing a lot more of too, which I just think it's really important for us. I'm kind of more speaking to the healthcare people right now. We need to be aware of this dynamic that sibling abuse is also on the rise. We're seeing a lot of what might just be considered normalized sibling rivalries or, dynamics of kids hurting each other physically or emotionally. But we also are seeing a lot more families, siblings specifically, abusing each other. And so it's not necessarily just the power structure from parent to child where that emotional abuse or coercive control is happening, but it can also happen in sibling dynamics as well, which sometimes with mental health professionals gets normalized as, oh, they're just being brothers, or that's just what siblings do. They mistreat each other or they fight. And so siblings who are fighting can also really in the early years be formative experiences for that they unpack later in therapy.
Interesting.
Yeah. It's something I'm seeing a lot more commonly in my practice, where I'm hearing a lot more about sibling abuse and parents doing nothing about it, or they tell an adult, like a teacher at school, and the teacher maybe minimizes it or does nothing about it again. And so there's something about families, and there's something about child to child, sibling to sibling dynamics of harm and abuse that we don't take as seriously. Right. But if you think about like two kids on the playground at recess, like if they're fighting each other, adults intervene on that. Right. But maybe if it's happening at home in the basement every Friday night, parents kind of go, oh, that's just what they do.
Yeah.
Right. So there might be a way that we as a culture has sort of normalized sibling abuse. And so with, just to get gendered for a second, boys tend to be more physically aggressive, whereas women and girls tend to be more relationally aggressive. So that relational aggression in girls can also show up quite particularly, and then across gender, so like maybe female to male or male to female, can show up quite differently also. So, different dynamics, but in any case, the relational aggression, we're also seeing a lot more of it in boys now too. I think a lot of that can be the result of comment culture online and TikTok, things just being very fast and quick, and you're trying to be funny, but you're also trying to be a bit like quippy. So the relational aggression piece is a big factor in this conversation about sibling dynamics.
It's interesting you say that, because like, I guess when you say it like that, I'm like, oh yeah, that makes sense, right? Because when you're a soft little baby, it's like your circle is so small.
Yeah.
Right.
And who's protecting you maybe when somebody's hitting you and calling that normal?
Yeah. Interesting.
Right? Yeah. And so that can be quite challenging for a young person to get their frame of reference right, or to get their bearings on that, right? To figure out, like, is this just my brother being my brother?
Yeah.
Is this okay? Or is it abuse because it's actually hurtful and it's going to leave a bit of a scar, right?
Interesting.
And so I think about it, maybe if we go back to the song and about the lovely listener question kind of about closeness, I think about relationships in adulthood with siblings are very different than relationships with siblings in childhood.
That was my last question.
Right. So they just look differently. They just do.
Yeah.
And as adults, like, our lives just sort of transform in ways that parents maybe try to maintain the family structure by keeping siblings close, or by organizing family events that bring people together. And so sometimes what we see is that if siblings aren't doing that on their own without maybe an adult or the parent kind of facilitating those interactions, then those ties, those bonds will be weaker. And so we typically see that in siblings, especially in adulthood, when they are organizing their own outings together, or they are hanging out independent of the family, then that's when those bonds tend to be a bit stronger. And so if a lovely listener is asking, like, how can I build closer relationships with my siblings? That would be one of those low-hanging fruit things, which is that you want to hang out with them outside of moments where you're obligated to be there.
Yeah. Interesting. Oh, that's fascinating.
Look at that.
I like that. I like anytime we can like lift the hood on something that we think we got. I'm always like, oh yeah, let's dig there. Because sibling dynamics is interesting, right? Because it's different. They're not parents. And sometimes depending on how old you are with your siblings, they could be your peers.
Yes.
Or they could be like one or two steps ahead of you, but like close enough. Or the opposite, where there's like a big gap.
Totally.
And
the last factor that I would say here matters a lot is emotional maturity. When siblings aren't on the same plane of emotional maturity, sometimes that can be because of age, or sometimes that can be because of any sort of trauma that they experienced early in their own childhoods, independent of the family unit, or in the family unit. Then that can also complicate the closeness of the relationship too. When siblings aren't developing or progressing on the same plane, so maybe, for example, one sibling is in therapy and another sibling is not, those relationships just naturally look different, right? When someone's working on themselves or growing and changing in a way that the other sibling is not. Yeah. All quite fascinating dynamics, and
all in We Don't Talk on the Hilary Duff album.
Exactly. So if you need something relatable to listen to, if this is your experience, then I would definitely suggest going listen to We Don't Talk by Hilary Duff.
Is that your favorite song on the album?
Is it my favorite song on the album? No. I think my favorite song is still Mature.
You're so mature.
4 seconds, thank you.
Yeah. That's it. That's all we have money for.
Exactly.
That's all we have money
okay,
for.
let's take a quick break.
Yes.
Maybe we can loop back to this on our final kind of wrap
We'll have
up.
to, because we have to throw the needle.
Exactly.
We must.
We must do it. All right. In any case, we'll BRB.
We'll be right back.
Okay. Before we get into this next topic of sports betting, where it might get a bit fun but also serious, I want to tell you a quick story. In a conversation about sibling dynamics, I was going to tell you the story, but it didn't really feel appropriate. So now I'm just going to.
So now you're gonna shoehorn it in.
So now I'm going to just wedge it into a conversation about sports betting.
I love that.
As you know, I've taken a lot of time away from social media, and I've recently gotten some accounts back, and I've started scrolling a bit more. And I already know that it's just not good for me. Like, it's just not good. But I did see this one funny video that I wanted to share with you. It was these two guys who were in a really sunny place, and they were just having a great old time. And I could immediately tell that they were like little besties running around, and I couldn't stop watching. And so they said, in our friendship dynamic, we've started to share this phrase at the end of every sentence with each other, and we can't stop saying it. And and the phrase is "in a really big way," and so they'll just tack it on to the end of every sentence. And so they'll say like,
I'm hungry.
In a really big way.
That's funny.
Or like, oh my gosh, Hilary, Duff just dropped a new album in a really big way.
That's really funny.
And so they had all these really funny examples. And now I can't stop saying it. And now I can't stop thinking about it.
In a really big way.
So if I start saying it, that's why.
In a really big way.
Anyway, we're about to talk about sports betting.
I love that.
In a really big way.
In a really big way.
In a really big way.
Okay, go off, Queen.
Okay. This is an article by Isaac Rose Berman, and it is called The Rise.
Love their work.
Love his work.
Oh my God.
I've been loving
We
the work.
went to that concert together. You, me,
and Isaac Rose Berman.
Oh my God, it was so good.
Yeah, IRB is what we call him.
It was so fun.
Isaac Rose Berman.
Yeah, do you remember? What did we see? Do you remember?
I can't. Hilary, it was.
No.
Oh, okay.
No, it was Jade.
Oh,
we saw Jade.
That's
oh,
right.
So good.
Jade. Snaps for Jade. Okay,
Yeah.
so anyway, back to the program. This Isaac Rose Berman wrote us a story, and it is called "The Rise of Sports Betting is a Growing Public Health Crisis in a Really Big Way." I added that last part. And I'm going to read a few snippets because I think, number one, setting the scene for sports betting is important. We kind of need to have the facts before we can kind of talk about why this matters or why we're even talking about it. So it goes on to say, when the Supreme Court struck down the federal ban on sports betting in 2018, Americans illegally wagered less than $5 billion on sports annually. Last year, in 2024, they bet $150 billion. Holy. What's emerged isn't just a bigger gambling market, but it is instead a public health crisis in the making, with young men as its primary casualties. Today, 90% of bets are placed on phones, not on casinos or racetracks. Holy. More than half are live bets placed while games are in progress. Open any betting app and you'll find hundreds of options per game. Not just who wins, but rather the next pitch will be a ball or a strike. Whether Shohei Ohtani will get a home run and 5 strikeouts. Whether
I don't know what that means.
That's
Baseball?
yes.
Okay.
Yes. I recently became a baseball fan.
Okay, cool.
So I did clock the reference.
Gotcha.
Shohei-
I was like, you're saying
Shohei
4 or
Ohtani,
5 words that I don't know.
He's a batter and a pitcher. So he is one of the, I think there's only 2 in the league, maybe 3, but he's one of the only people that can do both.
Okay.
Yeah. He's
verse.
Yes, he's verse.
He's a verse queen.
Exactly. So whether or not Ohtani will get a home run and 5 strikeouts, whether LeBron James will score 30 points, you don't need to drive anywhere, get cash from an ATM, or even get out of bed. It has never been easier to gamble. So most people who use these apps won't develop a gambling addiction. Most won't even lose much money. A study of 9 million gamblers from the 2023 NFL season found that 60% of bettors accounted for just 1% of sportsbook revenues. So between casual betting and full addiction, however, lies a massive gray area where millions of Americans, most particularly young men, now live.
Oh my God.
So we're talking about sports betting because it's becoming a bigger issue where it's becoming normalized for us to place these small kind of token bets. So if you're not familiar, there's different types of bets you could place on these apps. So there's like penny bets where you can just add in 1-cent bets to things. But again, it's not like they're betting just on outcomes of games. They're betting on the different nuances of them. So they're talking about, like the article is saying, will the person be able to get every 3-point shot that they take? Or will they foul out? Will someone get injured, right? So they're betting on different nuances of the games. And if you're not familiar, there's something called Poly Market. Have you heard of Poly Market? So Poly Market is this
Polly Pocket.
Poly Market is this new social phenomenon that we're seeing where I believe it's a company. Poly Market is a company, yes. And essentially you can log on to Poly Market and you can place bets about what will happen in culture, in real life, in the world.
Oh, I saw a South Park episode about this.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, for example, someone just wagered big and won big on the Poly Market bet. Will Trump say transgender this week, for example? So there are these different Poly Market bets. So, for example, like people are betting on the Oscars. People are betting on just things in life. And again, people are winning big and losing big. And so in a way, it's almost as if these apps have normalized this way of slowly bringing in addictions into our life in a way that is exciting and fun for some. And so boys are more likely to be more risk aggressive. So they're more likely to be more risk taking in these types of situations. That's why they are more likely to experience this.
What is the argument, aside from just like, it makes us money? What is the argument for having this, for opening this up? Because here in Canada, like our legislation changed too in the last couple of years, where you're now allowed to advertise.
Yes. Where we're seeing a ton of more.
So many. It exploded overnight. Yep. It's like ads on buses.
Yep. Sports betting ads, gambling ads.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Which I just find confusing because I was like, because marijuana, for example, is legal in Canada, but we're not allowed to advertise it. But betting you can advertise. But the argument is that they're both vices and they're both addiction based. So I'm just confused as to why one rule applies to one thing and one is the other. Not that you have the answer, but I'm just making an observation.
Well, this is interesting. Well, let's talk about addictions in general, right? So we have substance use disorders, and then we also have like what is known as a behavioral addiction or a process addiction. So when we have a behavioral addiction like gambling or online shopping, that's a different type of addiction class than is the substance use form. So it could boil down to the fact that it's a behavior, not something that is a substance that we put into our body. That might be part of it. I'm not sure. But I think a lot of it also probably has to do with the lobbying from these companies. A lot of the casino apps or a lot of these betting companies have probably with government struck deals so that they can advertise and get the word out there. The other thing too is that it may also be because they don't have physical locations. Like they don't actually have like they're an app, right? Or they're a place on the internet versus cannabis stores, for example. Like they may just have different ways of advertising.
I don't know. I just think that's a loose argument.
It's
like,
so
it's
odd.
so
It's
I'm
so
just
strange.
like, huh? Like,
so I wanted to surface a story from this article that I was reading where it's talking about a 20-year-old college sophomore. And so he says, I first realized I might have a problem when I started checking the odds first thing in the morning, says Danny, a 20-year-old college sophomore. I'd wake up, grab my phone, and open Prize Picks before even looking at my text messages. Sometimes I'd bet, sometimes I'd just check the lines. Then I'd look again between classes and during meals. I wasn't losing a ton or failing out, but it started affecting me a lot. When my bets hit, I felt on top of the world. But when I lost, I felt like a complete idiot and couldn't concentrate on school or even on hanging out with my friends. So this is that mental health application that we're talking about, right? I'm seeing this across the board. In the schools that I'm working with, the schools want me to talk about sports betting. They want me to talk about gambling because it's happening in the classrooms. Kids are losing a ton of money, and I have seen the effects of it in my practice. I obviously can't share specific examples, but I have worked with families and parents with kids who have lost thousands of dollars in this stuff because their teenager had access to a smartphone and a credit card. And so there are some pretty hazardous scenarios that I think can come from this. To me, it's one of the reasons why we want to keep kids away from it. But kids, in a lot of circumstances, all they have to do to get onto it is just lie about their age. And then insert their own credit card or their parents' credit card, and then they get to move the money.
Right. So in terms of, I understand like that component, and this feels like one of those, like, this is an issue with a bunch of tentacles that like branch off, and we can see how this can affect stuff. But I guess maybe just holistically, like, how these is the concern coming from gambling, concern coming from the apps, the concern coming from these two things coming together because of access, and like, what is it about them that makes it like a new age addiction? Like, why is it rewiring our brain?
Mm-hmm.
And why are we, if we know this, and yet why do we just collectively keep going back? I guess the best
way to talk about it in a really big way
mm-hmm.
is to talk about it just through the lens of casinos, right? That's what these are. These are little mini casinos, and this is what social media has also borrowed from also in order to be effective, which is what is called intermittent rewards. So you don't get the reward every single time. And if you did get the reward every time, then it wouldn't be as exciting anymore. And so they create these little moments where you feel like you're winning or you could be winning, and they promise these really big payouts or jackpots kind of along the way. And it's pretty rare that if you do it, that you're going to win. And so a lot of the mechanisms for why these work, and a lot of these sports betting apps themselves, if you're doing really well, they will make it certain that you will not perform well in the future. And so if you're winning in a small moment, you can best bet that they will, through their algorithms, make sure that you're not winning as often or as frequently in the future. And so that's it goes back to that very common Vegas rule, which is that the house always wins. The house is always going to win on these betting apps. You're not going to get the big payout that you think you are.
But it's that like carrot in front of on the stick kind of thing, where it's like promise of the potential to win.
I think so.
Is enough.
The thing that matters to me about this is the age gating of these apps.
Yeah.
In order to get into a casino, they're not going to let a 14-year-old in there. And unfortunately, it's just so easy to get into the casino when it's an app. Yeah. And so to me, it's more about the age thing. And that's why we have age gating on things like alcohol, substances, and even gambling, buying lottery tickets, right? Because your brain at 12 years old, 14 years old, 18 years old are quite different in terms of their architecture. We're talking about the top and the front of your brain that allows you to weigh the pros and cons of your decision making. That starts to get a bit stronger after you had practice through high school. So by the end of high school into 18, 19, 20, you have just better decision making ability. You just do. And unfortunately, we have a lot of 15, 16, 17-year-olds who are on these apps who just purely think it's fun, right? So there's a social element to this as well. And so they just think it's fun, but they don't realize that it can, number one, create an addictive cycle. And number two, also result in some pretty awful like financial consequences for some kids. Yeah. So I've seen schools also tell me stories of kids who have lost, thousands of dollars in a moment, and then they miss 3 days of school because of it.
Right.
So there are mental health concerns that are attached to this for sure.
So why is nothing being done?
Where would be the profit motive in doing something about it?
I know that's the answer, but I wish it wasn't the answer.
Me too. I wish the health of young people was enough. Yeah. I wish the health of kids and families was enough. I wish the stress of parents was enough. But unless these people are affected personally, then they're not going to make really big, urgent changes on it. But, it just takes one of their family members to be involved in a situation where they lose $10,000 on a sports betting app for them to realize like, we should do something about this, right? It only takes, someone's family to be affected by someone from a social media crisis to do something about it. Unfortunately, they're happening to,
But you know what like really grinds my gears?
Say it.
Is that we've already made the rules for this already, and then somehow this stuff like makes its way through it all. Like we have the safeguards. That's why I think I brought up the point about the weed stores.
They're not safeguards though. We have rules and
regulations in place. Like we've determined that like X equals Y. Like it's gambling at the end of the day. We have rules about gambling already. So I'm just confused. Maybe I just don't know enough, but I don't understand why suddenly like app-based gambling, which is even more accessible, feels like it has less regulations.
Yep. So we have age gating, which means that there's a rule in place, but we don't have age verification. So
No, like
they
if
don't have to add an
we
ID.
order alcohol
Yeah.
off in Ontario,
Exactly.
if we order alcohol off Uber Eats,
Yes,
we don't get that alcohol delivered to us unless we show our ID.
which is age verification.
Right.
Yes.
So I'm just like, is that happening at these apps? And if it's not happening, I don't understand why it's not happening. Because we'd already decided that one substance has this rule and this one doesn't.
But it becomes that collective action problem, right? Like if one betting app becomes the ethical gaming app that says we are going to age verify all of our users,
Yeah.
then number one, people will just go to the ones that don't.
So, but I'm not
So-
asking the change to come from because the people who are making the money are just going to continue doing the thing to make
Agreed.
the money.
Agreed. There
But
needs to
where
be,
is the people
Yes.
who are outside of it that are supposed to be setting these regulations?
well,
you
there are
know?
regulations that say everyone that's 18.
But that's not enough. It's
I know,
obviously not
I know.
enough. It's not working.
Yeah. I know. This is the problem.
That just
This-
grinds my gears.
I know, same. It's so frustrating, and I really feel for the families and the parents who are involved in these situations where they are trying to peel their kids away
Yeah.
from this. But again, there's such a strong social motivator for kids to do this because
Yeah.
they get to participate in the fun activity on Friday night, right? But there are many kids who are doing this alone in their bedroom, and there are some who unfortunately are gambling their parents' money. Right? Because what is 1 cent, 2 cent, 3 cents? Well, when you do that 1,000 times, that becomes obviously a big.
amount of money. What's the actual dollar amount, Jakey? Do that mental math.
Oh my gosh! If 1,000 pennies, what is that? How
What
many?
is 1,000
How much
pennies?
money is 1,000 pennies?
So I can't even do that math.
I wish I knew.
I feel like an idiot.
I really wish I knew.
What's 1,000 divided by 100?
I don't know. Oh, 1,000 divided by 100 is 100.
So it's $100. Because in it 100
1,000
pennies?
pennies is $100.
No, 100 pennies is $1
$100 is 1,000 pennies. 1,000 pennies is $100
in a really big way.
in a massive,
In a really,
in a really big way.
In a big,
We
big,
need
big
to
way.
take a break in a really.
And
big
we need
way.
to step away from this in a really big way.
We need to put down the math.
We need
in
to
a
stop doing
really big
math.
way. Holy!
You know what? Speaking of Hilary Duff,
I
I hope she does the math.
if you can't do
If
the
you
math,
did it
Then
out
get
of
out of
the equation,
we need to like take her. Wait, is that
this
the
a needle?
Is that the connection?
Yes, I
We
will
just-
take. I will take anything and everything. If that's the connector, that's the connector.
That's incredible. Honestly,
Hilary Duff in her Metamorphosis album,
the math.
The Math, which was a very like Avril Lavigne type song.
Yes. And the math connects to sports betting for
Mm-hmm.
obvious and clear reasons, which is that numbers and
Mm-hmm.
quantifications
And if you can't do the math,
then get out of the equation, my love.
yeah,
And I've always said that.
you've always said that.
Okay.
All right, consider
Listen.
needle threaded.
I'll see you after class. Okay.
I was so nervous about
I will
that. I was
see
like,
you after
whoa, this is going to be so hard to connect these things. And we just did it.
You'll see me after class.
All right.
Okay.
Okay.
BRB.
Dr. Professor.
Alrighty, kids. At the end of every episode, you step on up.
And you come on up and you say your deepest, darkest secrets. Kinda, but virtually.
This isn't a confessional.
No, it's not.
It's not like that.
No, what it is. So at the end of every single episode, Jakey and I, we like to resurface and come up for air because sometimes we get a little too heady. And so we have this tried and true segment that we call Asking for a Friend, where it's you, the lovely listeners, have an opportunity to share something that's on your lips, a question. It could be a query. It could be like an everyday situation.
Yeah.
It's just something that we're just kind of like, okay, not every problem we face has to go to therapy. Sometimes you just need to ask a friend. So without further ado,
And without further ado,
it's time for
asking for a friend.
Cue the music.
Alrighty. You're reading it, kid.
Okay, so this lovely listener says, asking for a friend. What's a meal you like to make when you want to impress someone or celebrate something special? Asking because I'm bored with my food routine. and want inspo. LOL.
What was the second part? If you want to impress someone or
Celebrate something.
celebrate something. Wow.
What's like a special meal?
Why don't you go first?
I
I have my answer, but
have my answer too.
go.
You
go.
No,
you go.
I like to. Can I speak?
Yeah.
I'm speaking.
You may.
I'm speaking.
You may. You may.
I like
may.
to make Tuscan chicken. So that requires, but I make it a kind of like a vegan no, it's not vegan. There's chicken in it. I make it without,
Like a vegan sauce?
yes,
Like a dairy something?
a dairy-free sauce. Only because I feel like the dairy in it is so heavy. So I make it with like, yeah, you would love that. I've never made this for you.
Love.
It's kind of like my go-to.
I love that.
So I want you to think. I want you to picture
I love
in your
that.
brain. I want you to picture garlic and oil and sun-dried tomatoes and like just frying up and getting all delicious. I want you to picture capers. I want you to picture oregano. And then you're going to put some coconut milk. You're going to let that simmer. You're going to put a lot of coconut milk. Then you're going to put some crushed tomatoes. And then you just let that simmer. And you put like oregano, salt, pepper. You can put a little bit of paprika. You can put some lemon at the end. At the same time, you put all of those stuff on the chicken. I broil it, like cook it. And then when it's almost done, like 90% there, I take it out and I put it into that sauce. So it all becomes this delicious kind of sauce. And then you take this like soupy, delicious thing and you serve it on top of either like a pasta or you just get really crusty bread and you just dip it.
I want
So
this
good.
in the biggest way.
I can make this for you because it
I
is
want
dairy
it.
free. I only make it dairy free. Oh, and you're supposed to, okay, the non-dairy part. You're supposed to put Parmesan on it.
I
too.
want this
I'll make it for
so
you.
badly.
Okay.
I can't even explain to
I'll
you.
make it for you.
This sounds like incredible.
Yeah.
Just so you know.
So it's like my go-to.
I would say that mine is wow, I'm still thinking about the Tuscan chicken. I maybe have two. I have a version of a chicken parm that I love.
Love
Yes,
chicken parm.
with like a nice dairy-free cheese,
Mhm.
but not the rubbery, gross vegan kind.
There's some really good ones out there, and there's some really
Are
bad
there?
ones.
Oh yes.
I can tell you the good
I'm just
ones.
talking about the lactose-free ones because that's just personally what I require. But
Yeah.
I don't necessarily need it to be without full cheese. But
Mm.
in any case, chicken parm, love. Kind of like smash the chicken down, bread her up.
Do you
soak
bake
her.
or do you fry it?
Oh my gosh, both.
You do both? What do you mean?
You fry it first.
Yeah.
Crisp her up,
Yeah, that's good.
and then
babe.
you throw her into the oven.
That's a good girl. That's a good girl.
You're gonna do
She knows
both.
what she's doing.
You're gonna do both.
I know you try to do the baked one, and it is good, but it's just not as crispy.
It's not the same.
It's not the same.
Not the same. But I like the chicken to be cooked evenly and juicy, so I like the oven
Mm-hmm.
for that. But you gotta crisp her up first.
Fair.
And secondly, a lovely
Mm.
green curry chicken. Coconut milk, green curry paste, and just a lovely. We're making chicken
I
dishes.
guess we're making
chicken.
I think
love.
we need to do. We have to make we have to do like a dinner party or
We're
something.
making chicken love.
We're making chicken love.
Oh my god, we are.
Hey, loves. Come on in. We're making chicken. What are you doing over there in the rain? Come on over, love. We're making chicken.
Why is the look on your face sending me to outer space right now?
I don't know.
I'm obsessed.
Where's my look? I'm channeling Mrs. Doubtfire.
Yeah, I saw.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh no, I saw.
What are you doing, love?
What are you doing, love?
Come on over. We're making chicken.
We're making chicken tonight,
Yeah,
bro.
yeah.
Oh my
Oh
gosh.
no, I swore. Beat that.
Oh my gosh, I'm peeing.
Anyways.
So funny.
Okay,
It's
cool. So now
good.
there you go.
Oh, too funny.
Now, lovely listener, you have 3 recipes to add to your arsenal.
And
of meals.
listen, if you like what you heard,
Yes.
or guess what? If you don't, you can keep it pushing.
Keep it pushing, Mary.
But if you did, please like, comment, subscribe.
Subscribe.
Get in touch with us. Please send us our DMs.
Yeah.
And don't forget to click the link in our bio where you can also submit a question for asking for a friend.
Yes, yes.
Please do that. We love to get in touch and answer your questions. And we'll see you next week.
Yeah. And we're on every single social media platform as this isn't therapy. I don't know if we're in every single because there's a lot.
We're on the apps.
We're on the apps. So come find us. Do all those things. We'd like to hear from you. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
This isn't that
Chicken love?
We're making chicken love?
We're making chicken love?
Is that what you were quoting? What? Was it Mrs. Doubtfire?
No.
You just said it?
I just said it. We're making
you
chicken
just
love.
said something and it just set me.
You turned it into something.